Conservative new media viewers, JLin fans around the world, Charlotte Hornets fans around the world. What's up? It's me, PFA Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We're here to discuss Charlotte's 115-103 defeat tonight to the Miami Heat in game number 2 of their first round 2016 NBA playoff series. With the loss, Charlotte now trails 0-2 in the best of 7 game format. What happened in this game? What happened was something similar to game number 1, except that the Miami offensive explosion in game number 1, it took place in quarter number 1. In game number 2, it took place in quarter number 2. Miami scored 43 points in the second quarter of this game. That set the tone for them to have a 12-point lead going into halftime. That lead got larger in the second half. Charlotte was able to maintain some a reasonable distance from the Heat for a lot of this game. They actually got the lead down to 7 points with a couple minutes left in the game. However, Miami was able to kind of hang on and finish off Charlotte. So, in game number 1, Miami set a franchise playoff record for 41 points in one quarter, and that was quarter number 1. They bettered that mark tonight with the 43 points in quarter number 2. They also set a team record for playoffs or regular season, and they in field goal percentage for a half. Miami shot 74% from the field in the first half of this game. It was a miracle that Charlotte was only down 12 points going into halftime, and that was because Charlotte shot about 58% at the half. So what's plaguing Charlotte right now is they're not getting enough defense. Miami is shooting the ball too well. In the first game, almost everything went against Charlotte, as we detailed in the video. Tonight, there were 3 things in particular that were problems for the Hornets. The first of them being, of course, Miami's field goal percentage, which did come down from 74% to 58% for the game. Still, it's too high, obviously. The second thing was the three-pointers once again. Charlotte 1 for 16 from three-point range. Miami 9 for 16. As I said in the game number 1 video, if Miami does better than Charlotte does in three-pointers in a game, it's going to be difficult for Charlotte to win that game. That was again the case tonight. The third thing tonight was fast break points. Charlotte had only 1 fast break point. Miami had 15 fast break points. So there were some positives in tonight's game, though. However, Charlotte was able to get to the free throw line a lot, which they did in game number 1. They did a much better job rebounding. Charlotte had 39 rebounds tonight as opposed to Miami's 35. They also had many more offensive rebounds than Miami did. Charlotte had 15 compared with 3 for the Heat. The assists are still too low, only 9 assists for the entire game, which is extremely low. Last game, that was 11 for the Hornets, so they do need to work on that. Charlotte did not turn the ball over much, only 7 turnovers for the game, and they did actually beat Miami in points in the paint, which was another area which they truly struggled in game number 1. That tally was 48-46. So, look, this is difficult because Charlotte came out, the score was tied after the first quarter. It was a much different start. You could see the team was very focused. They felt better about themselves, but Miami couldn't miss. And to be honest with you, a lot of the made shots that Miami had were contested. They weren't wide open. It wasn't like Charlotte was playing terrible defense. Still, it's Charlotte must find a way to kind of break down Miami's confidence, because now it's kind of like contagious in Miami. They're feeling like they can hit anything, and they're going to hit anything. And through these first two games, they have hit a lot of shots that they might normally not make. But now they've won 2 games because of that, and Charlotte's down 2 games. And then the confidence builds on itself for Miami, and the confidence gets away from Charlotte. Another very important part of this game, and it's not good for Charlotte, is that Nick Batum injured his ankle in the second half. He had to leave the game. It was his left ankle. He turned it. He sprained it. And he went right to the locker room, and he did not return. So that's going to be very key to see how he can recover, or if he can recover. Near the end of the regular season, Nick Batum turned his ankle, and he missed several games. And if he misses games for the Hornets now, that's not a good thing. I mean, you wouldn't think it would be a good thing anyway. So let's go over the statistics briefly. Miami got 28 points and 8 assists from Dwayne Wade, 18 points, 4 assists from Goran Dragic, 17 points, 13 rebounds from Hassan Whiteside, 16 points, 6 rebounds from Luol Deng, and off the bench, 15 points for rookie Jason Richardson. Last game, I said that I thought Justice Winslow was a second-year player. That's not true. He's also a rookie, and he had 9 points and 4 rebounds in this game as well. Charlotte was led by Kemba Walker with 29 points, although it was pointed out that Kemba needed 29 field goal attempts to get the 29 points. That is true. That's not a great ratio in terms of points per shot. Still, Kemba had a lot of energy in this game, and if it weren't for him, it would have been a worse loss, in my opinion. 25.7 rebounds from Al Jefferson. So Kemba and Al did most of the scoring tonight. Courtney Lee, 12 points. Jeremy Lin, off the bench, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 0 assists. Jeremy played 26 minutes, shot 2 of 7 from the field, including 0 of 3 from three-point range, 7 of 8 from the free throw line, no steals, no block shots, 1 turnover, 3 personal fouls. Jeremy's plus-minus was at +3, which 3 of the bench players actually had positive plus-minuses, Jeremy, Frank Kaminsky, and Spencer Hawes, so that's interesting to note. Nick Batum, 9 points before he was hurt. Cody Zeller, 8 points before he was hurt. How did Jeremy play? I thought Jeremy played really well in this game. He didn't shoot super great, although one of those was a heave at the end of the shot clock. Jeremy, in the end of the first quarter and the start of the second quarter, was getting to the basket well. He was putting pressure on Miami's defense. And I think that particularly was the case after Hassan Whiteside had to sit down with 2 personal fouls. At that point in time, Charlotte started getting to the basket more. Jeremy was getting into pick and rolls with Al Jefferson, and in particular, and doing a really nice job. He did a really good job, I thought, at that point in time. His defense was solid. There's going to be a little bit of ups and downs, but he had some very good moments on defense. So overall, I thought he played pretty well. He didn't shoot the 3-ball well, but that could come and go, and we know Jeremy's had some continuing issues with that this season. But overall, I thought he played well, and he was basically like the third scoring option after Kemba and Al. Okay. What else can I say about this? Look, what's happening right now is Miami's almost playing, it's almost like a Golden State Warriors effect, which if you watch the Warriors much, you know that a lot of times they will blow teams out in the first half of games, and then they just kind of cruise for the rest of the game. And that's part of what Miami's been doing with Charlotte. They did it in the first quarter of last game. They did it by the halftime of this game. Charlotte did make a push in the second half, but Miami's getting enough of a lead where it's very difficult for Charlotte to kind of catch up and put pressure on Miami. So Miami, like Golden State, they're just building enough of a distance between themselves and the opponent, in this case Charlotte, where they get to feel free and easy. And everything seems simple, and it's like they're running downhill and Hornets are running uphill. I still think Charlotte's better than what they've shown. I think things will change when we get back to Charlotte. However, the health of Nick Batum is going to be really important because he helps the team tremendously in a variety of ways. And if he's not healthy, then I think it'd be easier for things to get away for Charlotte in this series. I'm not giving up on Charlotte. I'm not giving up on them. I don't think this series is over, even though they're down 2-0. They just need to get a win, and they need to regain some confidence. Once again, I hate to mention this because we mentioned him in the first game, but Marvin Williams is struggling mightily. In the first game, I want to say he was like 1 of 9 shooting. Tonight, he was 0 for 10. And what's happening is Miami is taking away Charlotte's three-point shooting. They're putting Hassan Whiteside right beside the basket, and all the rest of the guys are drifting to guard the three-point shot. And Marvin gets a lot of three-pointers, and he gets a lot of kind of little slashing moves to the basket. Both of those are being taken away. No room to shoot three-pointers, and Hassan Whiteside is challenging everything around the basket. I will say this. If Miami didn't have Whiteside, they'd be much less effective as a team. I mean, Hassan Whiteside is just changes everything on defense for the Heat. Without him, they really don't have any shot blocking, and you can drive against them pretty easily, actually. More easily than you can against some other teams. But as long as he's not in foul trouble and in the game, then you got a problem. Another thing with Miami is they're pretty big on the perimeter. Goran Dragic is pretty tall. Dwayne Wade's pretty big. Joe Johnson's big. Luol Deng's good-sized guy. The rookies are big. Jason Richardson, Justice Winslow. Those are big guys. They're taller and bigger than Charlotte is. Dragic is bigger than Kemba is. Dwayne Wade is bulkier than Courtney Lee is. Dwayne Wade is bigger than JLin is, and so forth. That's causing some problems. That's causing some issues because it allows them to get post-ups when they want to and kind of do isolation plays, particularly with Wade and Joe Johnson. But you also saw later in this game where Justice Winslow was posting up against Jeremy. Jeremy did a good job, but it's just that size advantage isn't helping Charlotte a tremendous amount. That's kind of it. That's pretty much a summation of what is happening in this game and what is happening in this series. As I said, I still believe in Charlotte. They need Nick Batum on the court, though. They do need him, or else it's going to get much more difficult. Also, Miami's playing at a fast pace, which they're doing more without Chris Bosh in their lineup, which he hasn't been for several months now. That's going to wear out people like Al Jefferson. Al's a bigger guy. His weight's a little heavier right now, probably since he had the knee surgery, and it's just hard to play at that pace if you're not used to it and if you are a larger body mass, as Al Jefferson is right now. And it's also easier to play at that pace when you're winning and you're hitting pretty much every shot you take. We know how good Charlotte is on their own home court. I definitely expect things will be different, but as I've said twice already, we have to see what's going on with Nick Batum. Look, even if Nick couldn't play, I still think Charlotte's going to play better. They have to figure out how to shrink the floor on defense. Miami is spreading them out when Charlotte is on defense. Miami's getting drives to the basket. Charlotte doesn't have great shot blocking themselves. That is an issue. They rely more on defensive, just kind of like one-on-one defense and team defense. That needs to get fixed. That's probably the thing that needs to most get fixed for Charlotte, in addition to they have to figure out how they can get some three-point shots, open three-point shots on offense. Those are the two things that Clifford and his coaching staff and the team is going to have to work on. I believe they have a couple of days to do that, though. Actually, no, yes, there are 2 days of rest between this game and game number 3. Game number 3 will take place on Saturday. Today is Wednesday, so they do have Thursday and Friday. They'll go back to Charlotte, have a little bit of time to work on that. And look, like I said, they came out good tonight. Yeah, they definitely had a lot of resolve. They wanted to do it. At just the second quarter, it got away from them. Every quarter of this game tonight, except for the second quarter, was either a tie score in the quarter or one team up by 1 point. So in other words, this is a very competitive game except for the second quarter, which was a lot of like what happened in game number 1 in the first quarter. So they're getting closer. They just need to continue with it, and hopefully they can get a win and kind of break through in game number 3. That is it for now, so let's set up game number 3. That will be, as I mentioned, here in the United States, Saturday, April 23rd. It will take place at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and it will be shown here in the U.S. on TNT television. That means the game will take place on Sunday, April 24th at 5:30 early in the morning in Taipei, Taiwan, and throughout China. So what do you think? What do you see? I know there's a lot of people that feel like Kemba's shooting too much and Spencer Hawes should have came in the game earlier. Charlotte's got to step up their defense, and so on and so forth. Certainly, there's more that Charlotte can do. I mean, there's no question they can and they need to do more. But I see a team in Miami that just, I don't know, they've kind of bottled up this little confidence and fury, and it's working right now. Their little small ball stuff is working. They're very confident. They're fed off the home crowd. They feel like every shot's going to go in. I really don't think they're that much better than Charlotte is when Charlotte's playing their best. But right now, it's the gap has been it's been certainly evident in the first 2 games of this series. But let's see what happens in the third game. I'm very much looking forward to it. Okay, thumbs up, thumbs down, your comments below. We want to thank Gary Chen of the JLin Garden fan group for the artwork you're looking at right now. Gary is a member of the JLin Garden fan group. He is also an artist and blogger in Taiwan. You can learn more about Gary and JLin Garden by following the information for them in the video description below the video player. Also there, you will find information for highlights of this game, so you can check those out and see what happened for yourself. Finally, in the video description, you'll see information about how you can join the Conservative New Media Facebook group and how you can come follow us on Twitter as well. I tend to tweet out during the games as we did during game number 2. Once again, I'm PFE Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 JLin YouTube fan channel. Tough loss. Was really looking forward to a possible win tonight, but it just was not to be. Hopefully the team can figure it out a little bit better. I still feel good about the team. Let's hope that they can get healthy, particularly Nick, between now and Saturday. And let's tip the ball up on Saturday afternoon, and let's hopefully Charlotte can get a win, and we can kind of talk about a win and change the feel of this series going forward. That is it for now. Hope you're having a great night, a great day, wherever you are around the world when you watch this video. Take care. We'll talk to you again in just a couple of days.